Now we finally got our hands on Maruti Suzuki's all-new Dzire. Yes, no longer Swift Dzire, just the Dzire. And apart from that, the changes are plenty. Yes, it's still a sub 4 meter sedan, but Maruti Suzuki promised that this is actually a really grown-up package. We spent some time with it and found out that claim is true on several counts. And well, on some counts, it could do a little bit better. So where is the new Dzire stronger and where could it do better? Let's find out in this review. That the Dzire comes with. In this top-end ZXi Plus trim, it is packed with LED headlamps, LED DRLs and LED encrusted tail lamps. These are features that for now are offered on larger and more expensive sedans, like the Honda City and Volkswagen Vento. Yes, the Ignis does too, and soon a lot more cars will. But once again, the Dzire is leading the charge in its space. And the face, it is shared with the upcoming Swift, but the thicker slats for the grille and the chrome accents give it a more upmarket and mature feel. The shoulder line as it sweeps from the front headlamp over the wheel arches and back towards the tail lamp is a clear highlight here. What enhances the story further is that the new hardtech platform makes the Dzire wider by 40mm and drops the roofline by 40mm, and the wheelbase has been stretched by 20mm as well. And that really changes things. Okay, the face, it might not be to everybody's liking, some might call it a bit fishy, but overall what you can't deny is the stance of the Dzire has really evolved. Yes, it's still under 4 meters long, but the changes in the width, the height, just make it feel and look a lot more confident than before. And believe me, if it was longer, the boot had just a few more inches to stretch itself, the overall design would just look very handsome. And win number 2 is... Now, one area where Maruti has really managed to jump ahead is in terms of the ambience inside the cabin. You look at the smaller touches like the design for the dashboard, the way this tablet sits here, the steering wheel, this flat bottom design which is available from the base variant, all end up giving it a very nice and classy feel. The plastics also feel richer, they feel nicer now. There's this wood finish as well on the top end variant, and it all helps to lift the ambience. And of course the variant that we're driving here is the ZXi Plus, which gets a lot of features. A nice touch here is the way the center console is angled towards the driver. And on this top-end ZXi Plus variant, you'll find that the 7-inch screen offers Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also a reversing camera. There's a 6-speaker music system on offer on this top-end trim, while the middle variants make do with 4 speakers only. The large buttons and the simple layout for the aircon system is great to use. Safety, that's a mission for Maruti now. They've got a lot of flack in the past and they're certainly making amends now. For instance, you have ABS and airbags available as standard across the range, and they've really made a statement because the base L variant is actually cheaper than the outgoing Dzire. Yes, they trimmed some features on that front, but they managed to get it at a lower price point than before, along with dual airbags and ABS. And well, in terms of safety, the Dzire is offering more as well now. You have anchorage points for ISOFIX seats for children as well here as standard. Well, that's the equipment on offer, but the basics are pretty good too. While the seat cushioning is soft, the front seats are spacious and good for taller and wider occupants. And there is plenty of headroom for them as well. Seat height adjustment is available from the V variant, and that will be handy for shorter drivers. As will the chunky steering, which is rake adjustable. And then when you step into the back, now another big step forward is right here in the back seat. Look at the smaller details. You have dedicated aircon vents here. Along with that, you also have a second charging point here, and a storage for your phone. So really nice little touches here. But the big point, as you can see right here, is the amount of space on offer. The knee room is honestly quite incredible, and in terms of width, you do get more shoulder room, and sitting 2 abreast here feels nice and spacious. Sitting 3 abreast, you can manage that. If it weren't for these seats which bulge out towards the sides, you'd be able to manage it even better, but as is, for short city stints, this should be just fine. And when it comes to headroom, unless you are 6 foot and above, that should not be an issue either. But for longer stints, how much luggage would you be able to pack? The Dzire has an additional 62 liters of storage than before, and that means you have 378 liters of boot space. Loading luggage is easy as the opening is wide and fairly low. So yeah, in terms of liter space, this isn't the largest or the second largest in its class, but as you can see, there is plenty of storage space on offer. And when you decide to hit the road, be it in the city or on open highways, the other incredible bit about the Dzire becomes apparent. Maruti would like us to believe that the suspension is made up of steel and rubber, McPherson struts at the front and a twist beam suspension at the rear. But instead, it seems to be working on some kind of magic. Big highlight on the Dzire is its suspension setup. When you're going over broken roads like this, it just soaks it up very well. A special mount for the subframe is set to isolate the cabin from shocks. On top of that, the suspension just works very quietly. Next on our list of pluses has to be the 1.2-liter petrol engine. It makes 83 PS of power and 113 Newton meters of torque. And yes, that is the same as before. But the new Dzire Petrol is said to be 85 kilograms lighter than before. And Maruti claims that it delivers 22 kilometers per liter of fuel efficiency, which is 6% more than before. And since the Dzire does not use a planetary gearbox, swapping it for an automated manual transmission, you get the same fuel efficiency with an automatic as well. But there are other reasons to like this combination. A winning combination on the Dzire has to be the peppy K12 motor along with the AMT transmission. It gives you the convenience of an automatic, and yes, while the AMT can be considered as a simple system, Maruti showed with the Ignis that they can set it up quite well, and that applies here to the Dzire as well. What that means is, it doesn't have that head nod that was associated with AMTs. It is smooth in the way it shifts gears, it is quick, so when you want to get that change in pace and you put your foot down, it gets the job done. So, all good. And let's not forget the 1.3-liter diesel engine. It makes 75 PS of power and 190 Newton meters of torque, and that is also unchanged from before. But since the diesel is lighter by 95 kilograms, and along with other changes, fuel efficiency has gone up to 28.4 kilometers per liter. But we'll have to wait to see how that turns out in our real-world tests. So, what is missing? Yes, something is. Okay, what was a bit of a letdown here was the combination of the diesel engine with the AMT gearbox. Maruti has managed to improve it from the previous Dzire. For instance, it feels smoother, but it doesn't feel as natural and as immediate to drive as we saw with the Ignis. But of course the Dzire is a bigger, heavier car, and of course the gearbox has been calibrated for a more relaxed driving style as well. So as long as you're looking to commute within the city calmly, the Dzire diesel automatic would do fine. But if you're looking to drive around at a slightly hectic pace, it'll keep shifting between the gears, and that's when you'll find that the head nod factor kicks in quite apparently. And keeping in mind this take it easy formula, you won't be too surprised to find that the Dzire isn't an engaging car to drive. The steering is well weighted at low speeds, but at higher speeds it feels too light, and the sense of connection to the front wheels is missing. Sure, it steers steadily and brakes rapidly when you ask it to, but that is it.
Where we feel Maruti could have done just that little bit better to make the Dzire, well, more luxurious, would have been with slightly better sound insulation. The diesel, for instance, don't get us wrong, is quieter than before, but we can't help but mention that you do get a fair amount of wind noise from around the A-pillar at about 80 kilometers an hour as well.
And finally,
look at the little key here. It is a bit little and it doesn't feel particularly special in the hand. Well, I might be nitpicking with that, but how about this? For the aircon vents, this round you can see how the plastic doesn't sit quite flush. Fit and finish could be better in some areas. And then coming to the rear aircon vent itself, well, you don't have a blower control, but you do have flow control, and overall, even with the fan speed high, the flow of the air through these small vents is a little bit on the low side.
and while these are issues in the light of what the Dzire has to offer, these are slight wrinkles. And despite the price, you are hard-pressed to call the Dzire anything but a heavyweight in its space.
Now, has Maruti managed to jump ahead in terms of what the Dzire has to offer? Simple answer, yes. But there are a few shortcomings, and would we not be expecting some shortcomings? Honestly, it would be hard to pull off a mass market car about which we don't have something to nitpick about. And yes, there are a few things we'll nitpick about the Dzire that we've already spoken about, but on the whole, what we've got here is a package from Maruti that really changes our expectations from the brand. Maruti said that this has grown up, and really, after spending a day with it, you come away with the sense that in terms of the overall experience, this is far richer than what we have got from Maruti Suzuki before. So on the whole, the Dzire has not just taken forward our expectations from Maruti Suzuki, but also changes our expectations of the segment. And that is a big win.